Hello, Twin.
Hey, Twin, how are you?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Hello, everyone listening to you're here. Well, everyone listening to the hashtag Twin Life podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you guys here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, please pause, hit the bell, subscribe, and then continue to listen. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms like Spotify or Amazon or iHeartRadio, thank you guys so much. Please make sure that you follow us on those platforms as well so you can get alerts when our podcasts come out, but they come out every Wednesday. So make sure you stay tuned and check us out. And then you can also follow us on any of our social medias at Twin Life Podcast. And then our personal ones also, which are tagged on our Instagram page. So go
Links
check us
in the
out.
description.
The links are also in the description box. Yes. So, all right, let's get into it. How's your week been, Twin?
My week has been really good. It's decided that it wants to have another heat wave today or this week. So it's been in the 90s here. Next week it's supposed to drop down into the 70s with lows in the 50s. So I'm sort of looking forward to that because it's just so freaking hot here. Like 90s, I've said before, 90s is just too hot to like do anything with Phoenix because like playgrounds here aren't built to like for heat like that. It's like
Right.
all hard plastic, so it just gets too hot to like even do anything on. And then of course we have the pool, but like honestly, like we went to the pool so much, like that was like one of the first things that opened during quarantine. That was like the only thing we could do, and we went to the pool like every single day. And I'm just like, every time he says, "You want to go to the pool?" I'm just like, no. So, we might go to the pool tomorrow during like maybe during the day, maybe go like, 1 or 2 or something like that. Instead of like, because it gets dark here pretty early, so I don't really like taking him
Right.
because and the temperature starts rapidly dropping, and I don't really like going to the pool when it's like 75 degrees. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little bit too
who
cold.
does? Yeah.
But other than that, just still doing F45. They're starting a challenge. They do like a 45-day challenge starting October 26th. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to change anything I do. I'm going to keep doing the same thing and hopefully like I do really
What's the
well.
challenge?
So there's like going to be different categories because everybody has different goals. So there's going to be like a weight loss goal, and then there's going to be like a muscle gained goal, and then there's going to be maybe like a percentage of body fat loss. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's like going to be different categories because like not everybody that goes there is trying to lose weight. So some people are trying
Right.
to gain muscle, they're trying to whatever. So for me, I'd be in that category of a person wanting to lose weight. So we'll see what happens. There's a couple of like bigger girls, so it's kind of like I feel like they might have an advantage because like when you're heavier, you drop weight like faster. So if it's by percentage of weight loss though, which hopefully it will be, then I
Yeah.
might be able to hang because I've already lost like 4 or 5% of like I think it's like 3.5% or whatever of my body weight. Um, so yeah, and hopefully in 45 days I lose 10 more pounds because that would be freaking awesome. At least 10 more, and I'll be that much closer to my goal. So besides that, I'm just enjoying hanging out with the Munchkin. Halloween is coming up. They're doing like a parade. Like next week is like a Halloween Spirit Week. Well, Fall Festival Spirit Week.
Yeah.
So he gets to dress up in his costume, and like I had to buy an orange shirt, and I had to buy these. They're doing this like booing. Have you ever heard of booing before?
Yeah. Well, you explained it to me, but explain it to our listeners.
Okay, so if you don't know what booing is basically like it's kind of like Secret Santa but for Halloween. So like what you would do is like in your neighborhood or like at your office, you would like write 2 notes, one that says you've been booed and then write another one that says you've been booed because you want them to put it up like on their window or their classroom or their office or whatever, and it just says you've been booed, and you drop a gift with the 2 notes. And then what you do after that is you take the other note and you buy a gift for somebody else, and then you like pass it along to somebody else and boo them. So it's just kind of cool. Like it's like a cute little thing. So at Phoenix's school, all the teachers are going to walk around every single day next week, and they're going to be dressed up as something, and they're going to drop off like little things for each class. And so every parent in the classroom had to buy 15 things for all the kid, like each kid in the class, and then they're gonna like
What'd you
put together
get?
little goodie bags. I got little slap bracelets.
Perfect.
like different themed ones. Like there's like Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Marvel, or like Marvel characters. Um,
Target is like the best place for that.
Batman.
Did you go to the dollar section in Target?
No, I actually went to Walmart and I went to the gift, like the kids gift wrap section or whatever, where you
Oh, okay.
like where you, or like party sections, because it has like all of those like party favors. So I was like,
Oh,
okay,
good.
what can I get? I almost got these little like they had these little glasses, but I was like, I didn't really want to get that. There was a lot of them I had to buy, so I was like, I had a budget I wanted to stick to. So yeah, so I bought them all those. I dropped them off at the school, and so every day the kids are gonna get like little cute, goodie bags. And they were it was very important that they said, don't tell them what you got them so that they're surprised or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be cute. And we'll participate. The only one is Crazy Hair Day. I don't know how Phoenix would feel about doing a crazy hair day. Like if
Why
we
don't you
were to
just
like,
why don't you just spray his hair? Something.
yeah, I don't know. Phoenix doesn't like he doesn't really like that kind of stuff. Maybe he will now. Like he doesn't like getting messy or dirty or anything.
So I feel like spraying his hair something is a little less invasive than like, putting mini like ponytails or something on his head. Just like spray his hair green or purple or blue or something, and then just
Wash it out later.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll because his favorite color right now is purple. So maybe if I was like, Phoenix, you want purple hair? He either will say, Mom, no, people don't have purple hair. Or he'll be like, sure, that sounds like fun. I have no idea. I feel like it's gonna be the first one though. But we'll see. If we make it fun, if I'm like, all your friends are gonna have different colored hair and stuff at school, then maybe. But anyways, so how has your week been?
It has been full of travel.
Full of travel. All the
Yeah,
travel.
all
Shout
the
out to
travel.
Celsius, by the way. Drinking an apple pear Celsius. This one's really good. It's like the fall one. Anyways, go ahead.
Um, we made it to our destination finally, so it's great. The weather is super beautiful. I've never lived in the Midwest, so it's just shocking to me how colorful the fall is here. Like it is crazy, like whole trees that are bright orange and like red, and it's just crazy. It's so gorgeous, and the weather has been really good except for today. It's raining. It's raining and it's in the 50s. So the weather was like yesterday. It was like 75, but like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And
Nice.
then since we've been here, it's been relatively like 70s. It didn't quite hit 80. It was just like right around the 70s the whole time
But that's fall
since we got here.
weather. Fall
Right.
weather should be blustery and rainy and
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to live somewhere where I can actually experience the season. So I've been enjoying that a lot. And so we got in the hotel, and like Blake will be starting work next week. So which is nice because like originally it was like we were gonna get here and he was gonna start the next day. So I'm glad that we got to
Yeah.
explore the city together and like kind of get to know the city together, because it would have just been like hit the ground like running. Like he would have just been at work and we would have just been, I don't know, like Elaine and I would have just been sitting here in the hotel, like in a city we've never been in, and just like not
Yeah.
feeling comfortable really doing anything or knowing where anything is. So now we kind of know where everything is. It's super, one of the coolest things so far about the city is the roundabouts. Like everything has, instead of having lights everywhere, there's roundabouts. It's
Okay.
great because traffic just keeps going. Just traffic. I mean, you rarely ever hit a light unless you're downtown, and it's so cool, all the roundabouts, which is a weird thing, but when you experience it, it's
So
nice.
efficient.
Yeah, it's super efficient. Instead of you getting stuck at a light, it's just everybody is like going through the roundabout process, and just like you just keep going. So I've been really enjoying that. I had a lot of anxiety about driving in Atlanta. Like, if you've ever been to downtown Atlanta, just in
So
Atlanta in
one
general,
ways.
it's a lot of it's not even just one ways. It's it's been a long day so far, afternoon so far. It's it's not just like one ways. It's not even one ways. It's like you're in a 3-lane street, and then when you cross the street, the 2 outside lanes are both going straight, and you're like, but there's only 1 lane in front of me. How are we both supposed to go? Like, or here though, the one thing that concerns me is, remember when we lived in Northridge in LA, and like at night some of the street lights weren't on, so you couldn't really see the road. It's very
Yeah.
similar here, where a lot of the streets are pretty dark. So when we
Yeah.
got here, the day we got here, it was raining. Like the night we got here, it was raining, and so we're driving on these dark roads, like, and you couldn't really see the lines, and we'd never driven here before. Yeah,
Okay.
we've never really like seen it, and like we've been driving. So Blake was like, I can't see the lines, and I'm like, it's not just you. I can't see the lines either. But it's very simple here. No one's in a hurry. The speed limit on the highway is 55 miles an hour. I looked at the population of this state of Indiana. Do you want to guess what in 2017? Guess what the population was?
500,000.
In the state.
Oh, 2 million.
6.5 million. That's it.
I think that's how many people are in Los Angeles.
Guys, exactly what I said. I was like, isn't it the population of LA? The city of LA? Like, it was like, and so there's like no traffic, legit, no one's in a hurry. Like, it's just so slowed down here. And my weirdest thought that I had.
Know what the population of, hey Google, what's the population of Los Angeles? $4 million. LA.
Okay, that's freaking close.
And that was in 2018, by the way. Woo! My light just got really hot over here.
Yeah, you just got really bright, twin.
Woo! I don't know what happened. Wait, turn it off. Okay, there we go. I think the sun is making my face really bright. Okay. I'm just gonna have a hot forehead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to I mean, I got hotel light here. It's just struggle bus. So anyways, yeah, so it's been really cool. And yeah, the state is very small. Like, you can get in and out of the state of Indy in the state of Indiana in like 4 or 5 hours, maybe 4 hours.
Crazy.
I think it's like 2 hours north to the border and 2 hours. Yeah, because it's 2 hours to Louisville, which is directly south of Indianapolis, and it's 2 hours north to whatever the next border. I don't know what the city is up there, but anyways, yeah, basically up there towards Chicago.
Aren't there lakes? Like the Great Lakes are pretty close, right?
Yeah, the Great Lakes are north of us. So you've got Chicago, you've got Minnesota, you got Michigan over here to the right. And Detroit, Chicago, Louisville, like all these cities are like not very far at all. So obviously, so we drove around yesterday, and then after this we'll get into our Did You See, but we drove around yesterday, twin, and we finally found neighborhoods that we like really like. Like, remember when I was freaking out because I was like, I'm never gonna find a house in this freaking state that I like. Like, it's because there aren't a lot of houses for sale. People don't move. Like, people don't move from here. Like, it is not a thing. Like, there are not that many houses for sale in Indiana. Like, and it's because people buy land or they buy a condo here or whatever, and then they just stay. Like, people don't really leave. Or they don't give up their homes here. They'll travel a lot because they have like a lot of like external income.
Yeah.
It's not far to travel in and out of Indiana because it's such a small state. So I think we're gonna really like it here. But my weird thought that I was gonna say earlier was that Ash and I have always lived in like real big bustling like cities that you see in like shows and movies and stuff. So like to live in Indiana, to me, and walking around and people are like genuinely friendly, like waving to you as your car drives by.
Even
like,
with COVID?
Yeah. Like,
that's so cool.
See, people, and honestly, they were freaking out here because they had 52 new COVID cases on Tuesday. And they're like people were like, there is a huge spike in the coronavirus in Indiana.
Sure,
and I'm like,
52 in one day?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot for Indiana, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's not all. But when your death, like their death
in the whole state,
the state of Indiana, 52.
No, hell no. I think we probably have like 250, 300 in California a day, at least. I think we probably have like on a low day, we probably have 30 or a day or something. There's been days where there's been like 2 COVID cases in San Diego, like a day, or whole days where there have been no new, quote unquote COVID, which doesn't mean there's not new cases. It just means that nobody tested positive that day. Yeah, that's pretty high for them though, but I understand what you mean. Like coming from here or Georgia, where like Atlanta was basically
it was like over 100 cases a day. The Falcons shut down.
No more?
The Falcons stadium, they shut down like because the coronavirus cases apparently in Atlanta are going crazy. They had a ton of players like test positive. I haven't read the whole article, but I saw that they shut down their facility, is what it said. Falcons shut down their facility. They're 0-5. So, I mean, they fired their coach and their GM. Like, everyone is struggle. Okay, so let's get into our Did You See? And we have a joint Did You See because The Bachelorette premiered on Sunday.
Yeah. There were other things that happened this week, but to be honest, this is the only one I really care about. So
yeah. So this week, The Bachelorette premiered on ABC and premiered on Tuesday, actually, because The Bachelor is on Tuesdays now instead of Mondays. Because Dancing with the Stars is on Mondays on ABC because they're not normally happen. They're not normally the same time. Normally The Bachelor goes, then Dancing with the Stars, then The Bachelor. The Bachelorette, then Dancing with the Stars, and The Bachelor. Yeah. And then Bachelor in Paradise. So they never overlap. They just kind of continue the whole year with the Bachelor stuff.
Yeah.
So this year they're at the same time. So The Bachelor is on Tuesday. Claire is The Bachelor, and man. So my thoughts. By the time you guys hear our podcast or watch it on YouTube, it'll be Sunday. So it'll be a couple days before The Bachelor. So you guys will be able to get like kind of I guess if you listen to it on Sunday, hopefully, or on I'm sorry, on, oh my gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's Thursday, Wednesday. So you'll be we'll have had 2 episodes of The Bachelor before you guys listen. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we'll be behind, but like, okay, so if you watch The Bachelor in real time, some people don't. So if you waited until Wednesday to watch The Bachelor, which is the day this podcast comes out, then you are not behind. You could listen to this and then watch the new episode. So that's what we're going to be promoting. But if you watch it in real time, we are going to be a week and a day behind. So we're talking about this week, we're talking about the premiere episode of The Bachelor. Next time you hear our voices, we'll be talking about episode 2 most likely, if we're talking about
we've been really trying to record on Thursdays, which I don't know, this may be the last Thursday that we get to record because when Blake really starts working next week, I may not be able to record on Thursday, but you're still gonna get podcasts every Wednesday regardless of what day it gets recorded. So there aren't a whole lot of highlights, quote unquote. It definitely ran just like a regular season of The Bachelor,
which is
like
weird.
Which is weird. Like, it just kind of flowed just like we didn't know there was supposed to be a whole bunch of drama unfolding. They did show you that all the guys they were quarantined for, I don't know how long they were quarantined for. Was it 2 full weeks or just a week?
Yeah, they sent them to a resort in Palm Springs in the middle of the desert. If you don't know where Palm Springs is, it's basically the desert. It's literally the middle of nowhere.
It's a resort town, but it's the desert.
Yeah, it's a resort, and the way this resort is laid out is like each of the hotel rooms are like set up as little like casitas, basically. So like, or like an apartment type of situation. Like if you have like a bunch
there's singular rooms, but they're singular as in they stand alone. Yeah. Separate from all the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were all quarantined in those for 2 weeks and they got COVID tested 3 times. And the part that's really important about this is like, there's 2 types of COVID tests. There's the one where they just like give you the little swab and you just like rub the inside of your nose, you rub the other side and you give it back. This was the one where they shove that thing like up where it's like, feels like, apparently I haven't been COVID tested. So
Blake
I don't know.
Had it done.
They said it like feels like your brain is like, these guys were like, their eyes were watering. They said it was the worst. It's so bad that ABC didn't show us it getting done. Like they started to show us one person get tested and I like freaked out and I fast forwarded. So maybe they showed it, but like,
no, they didn't. They showed all of their like not all of them, but they showed quite a few reactions to it. And I asked Blake, I was like, is that how it feels? Like, yeah, your eyes water, you start coughing. Like it's very invasive into your face. Like they get it up there apparently. Like it goes all the way up until like almost, it feels like apparently your brain, like they get it up there. So that sucked. And they had to do it 3 times. So did she, and so did Chris Harrison. So did all the crew.
They didn't show us.
They didn't show us that, but everybody who was participating in The Bachelor had to get COVID tested because they wanted them to be able to interact with each other. Like, nobody wants to watch the season of The Bachelor at social distance.
Yeah. No, hell no.
Like, so that would be weird.
Okay, so 2 things. One, now that I know the names of these guys, I'm pretty sure this is who it was, but the guy that goes by Easy, E-A-Z-Y.
The football player.
When he found out his COVID test was negative, The boy ran out the room so quick. Like he's like, they come to the door, they knock on the door, they're at a distance, and they're like, hey, just want to let you know your final COVID test came back negative. And he was like, what? And he just like bolted out of the room, was like, freedom, like was running
Yeah, they
around,
were
like
so happy.
doing
Somebody
the
jumped in the
most.
pool.
Yeah.
Like people, they were just so happy to not be, because the part that's horrible for them was that at least our quarantine, we had TV, we had our phone. They couldn't have TV or their phone during their quarantine. They had like a camera to record, but they didn't get to participate in the world, because you have to be like, because in The Bachelor, you're not allowed to have your phone and watch TV and stuff.
You're in a bubble.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in a bubble. So they were in a bubble, and that sucks. And a lot of them had to drive because they were flown there the first time. They had to drive back the second time.
130 days later.
Yeah, 130 days later, and then they had to drive back to LA. And man, they did the most to be on the season. Like, and the producers and the staff, I feel like they just were sitting probably on multiple Zoom calls going, okay, so how do we make sure we do all the CDC requirements, but make the show not weird and freaky for everybody to watch, and like make it not depressing, and make it still where they can like connect with each other, but not put anybody at risk, blah, 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 right? I mean, the last thing you want to hear is like one of Claire's bachelors test positive for coronavirus. Like, that's awful.
I think what gave me hope was like, I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I watched Love Island, which is literally, it's like Big Brother. You see every single day. They're there for 30 days and you see every single day. So it's 32 episodes or something like that of Love Island, right? And it just ended. It's on CBS. It just ended. And normally Love Island, they fly them to an island. Well, they flew them to Vegas in a rooftop resort facility. And they lived in there like Big Brother, where they all lived together in a house, basically. And all those guys got COVID. They were bringing people in and out of the show too, like in real time during COVID. So these people were getting COVID tested. I don't know if they were quarantining I don't know how they were doing it. I don't know if they were quarantining them for 2 weeks, but they were bringing like people in and out. They had them in a bubble. It was really safe. Everyone was making out and doing all types of things. Nobody got coronavirus. So like watching that, and it wasn't boring. That gave me hope for The Bachelor, because they did cute dates with them. Like once things started to open up, they were able to take them places. Like you can go places right now. So when The Bachelor was shot, I don't know how much freedom they had as far as like, can they take a road trip? Can they fly in a private helicopter? You know what I'm saying? Like there should be, no, they can't fly outside the country, but I mean, the US is damn interesting, and there's plenty of places you can drive to just in California that would be, or fly in a private, like, helicopter, which is not uncommon. The things they won't be doing is probably like bungee jumping or skydiving or things like that, where those facilities, or zip lining, those facilities aren't even open. But anyways, okay, so I don't think anything. Do you think anything in the episode was really worth like discussing?
Honestly, the reason the guys were so nice, and like there was one thing that they really tried to make drama that was stupid. With one guy saying that like the other guy was talking to his friend from home and or from like his hometown and blah blah.
Yeah, Claire Tyler C was trying to say that Yosef. I guess Yosef during quarantine was talking to some girl, which I don't think is a problem, because the dude didn't even know if he was going to be back on the show.
Not to mention that Claire literally says later that she spoke to one of the guys beforehand, so she can't exactly send a dude home for talking to somebody from his hometown when he didn't even know if he was going to be like. I mean, he hoped that maybe he would be on the show because he was under contract.
Yeah, but Yosef lied. He was like, I don't remember. I don't recall what you're talking about. He was lying.
I think she sent the wrong dude home. But I do too. I mean, I think she should have sent Yosef home, because my thing is that whatever the context of the conversation was, like that's a random one. It's a random thing to just like make up. But I feel like she felt like the guy, Tyler, handled it weird. Why did he do it the first night? She doesn't know him from a freaking hole in the wall. She just goes off her connection with whoever it is who she trusts more, and she had a connection with Yosef, so she went with, well, I like you and I don't really care who you are, so yeah, like, it was just dumb. He should have brought it up later, or just had it come to light later.
I think also that she's kind of very much like, we need to not be maybe not be talking about the other guys. Like that might be like a huge red flag for her, that like night one and he's already like ratting on the guys and trying to like sabotage
Start
them,
shit. Yeah.
so like she was just like, bye dude, like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Fire starter out of there.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
other than that, though, nothing really happened. The
Oh,
juicy stuff was at
the only other thing is that I wanted to say was their ages. These guys are grown.
yeah,
The
the youngest
youngest guy's
person's 27.
27. The oldest is 40. Okay. The second thing is ABC did a fantastic job being with the
They're
making it
so
multicultural.
diverse.
Like so, and I mean, like there's a Muslim guy on there. There's two Asian guys, which I mean, to be in general, that's a lot of Asian guys. Usually there's one, maybe not even one. So there's two Asian guys. There's a
There's
Sicilian
actually
guy.
three. There's actually three because there's one guy that's
Oh,
like,
Filipino.
yeah, there's one guy that's mixed. He's black and Asian. Oh yeah, the Filipino one, but he's black and Asian. So there's one, and then there's an Asian guy. There's a third Asian guy.
I thought there was two other ones. I know there was the one guy that did the origami.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember who the other guy was. He may have gone home. Who God only knows. But in general, there was like every time it was literally like a white guy, then a black guy, then a white guy, then a black guy. Like when they were coming out of the limo, it was like every other guy was not white. I was so shocked. And then on top of that, okay, so we got to talk about Dale because you already knew what Dale looked like. I purposely wanted to be surprised. I have been avoiding I've been avoiding ABC Bachelor's Instagram. I've been avoiding Claire's Instagram. I've been avoiding the Bachelorette ABC Instagram. I've been avoiding all of that stuff because and all of my, I'm in all these groups on Instagram that talk about The Bachelor. I've literally been avoiding it like the plague. I didn't even know what any of them look like. Dale is not ugly.
No.
Like he is
very
just
handsome.
Tall and beautiful skin and these beautiful eyes and smart and ex-NFL player for the Packers. Like
Packers. Oh, okay. I didn't know who he played for.
He apparently played. Okay, so I just listened to Nick Viall's recap
Oh,
yesterday. So
I gotta listen to that.
All the tea, right?
Get that.
So Nick he's from Wisconsin. So he remembered. He was like, I recognize him. Yeah. He played for the Packers. He apparently wasn't a slouch. He wasn't like Colton where he was like a red shirt. Like he apparently scored a couple of touchdowns. He got traded to the Vikings and then he retired or quit or whatever. So he was actually apparently well known, like NFL athlete. So first of all, I saw that he was black. Claire doesn't come off to me like, you know how like white guys that like date black girls, they have like a swag. Like she doesn't have that swag of like a girl.
Like Derek and Blake.
Yes, she doesn't come off like a girl that like dates black guys. Like that's not how she comes off. So I was like, shocked me. I mean, yeah, he's lighter skinned, whatever.
I kind of gave her some points for her desire for her openness to be in a mixed relationship, because I feel like so in Colton's season, he clearly had a type.
Yeah.
Like all those girls looked the same. Either tiny brunettes or tall blondes. That's it. Like he had a specific type. Tayshia was like way out, like different completely than and so he clearly had a type. It just does not seem like she really has like a set type, which I liked. So I got to give her props for Dale being the person that she was just like fell for instantaneously and felt connection. I was like, yay for the mixed relationships. Like I'm all for the mixed relationship. So and it would be, if she would have let this season play out, Dale would have probably ended up, if it went well, being the first black guy to be chosen on a season of The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Because that's not happened.
Nope,
so that would have been pretty dope, because I don't think a black person has been the winner partner on The Bachelor, because Rachel didn't pick a black dude.
No.
So
she picked that would have,
so that would have been a first. But yeah, so anyway, so at the end, I think this is like the part that we really wanted to get to, was that the end, they just kind of spilled a lot of the tea of like what we already knew, because when I listened to Chris Harrison a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, he was trying to say, like, people are like, well, is Claire is Claire really still The Bachelor? Does Tayshia come on? And he like really played it really close to the vest. Like, no, Claire's 100% The Bachelor. You will see what happens, blah, blah, blah. And then I read a thing that I sent Ashley that was on Instagram on the ABC page that was saying that apparently she's like engaged already to Dale, and like people have already seen them and like all this. And I was just like, I'm I'm just trying to understand how that unfolds. Like, Chris literally told her that she blew up The Bachelor.
Yeah.
The guys hate her. Like, they were like, you know, what if all 15 of us storm out? They're really upset and hurt because they continue to put their whole lives on hold, because the reason they were able to go back to The Bachelor is because things started opening up, production started again. So a lot of people kind of started going back to work, started going back to their lives. Nope, they were like, well, I've been quarantined for 100 and something days. Now I'm gonna go get quarantined for another 2 weeks, and then get put in a bubble for The Bachelor for another 2 months.
Yeah,
like they
that's
gave
like
up
all
a
of their
lot of their
2020
time.
gone.
Yeah, their whole 2020 gone because they're spending it on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. And anyways, yeah, I just felt like her actions are super selfish, I feel. Now, granted, we'll see how it unfolds, but I think her actions so far, from what we've seen in the clips, it's gonna be really selfish and complete disregard for the guys, complete disregard for her contract, complete disregard for the staff and the producers that busted their butt just to make sure she got her season of The Bachelor. Like, they could have just uncasted her and been like, we're just going to recast and start from scratch. But they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do it to the guys, and they didn't want to do it to her. And I just feel like the whole situation is just really unfair.
So I was talking to Mom about this because I wanted to know, like, I was like, from a production standpoint, like, how big of a deal is it for her to just like quit halfway? And Mom was like, it's really not that big of a deal. She's like, they always have like a plan B, C, D, F, G, like, because she's like, well, what if she had tested positive for COVID? They had to have a backup for that scenario. So what if what if night one, like, she goes out there and then, she gets a COVID test 2 weeks later and now her ass has COVID. Now she can't be the Bachelorette anymore because she got coronavirus. So it's like, they always have a contingency plan. She's like, it seems super dramatic, but she's like, honestly, from production, they probably weren't as like, upset as like we are as like the fans. I am only upset because I feel like we've popped the fantasy bubble of The Bachelor. The thing I enjoyed about The Bachelor was the idea that these lovely men were here for Claire. They were there for the right reasons. They're gonna fall in love.
She's trying to find her like partner, and like yes, that's all she wants, and like she's excited for the journey and da da da.
Yes, and there was this sense of like a bubble. That's what it is. It's the Bachelor bubble. They have let us inside the bubble now. So it's like, since Colton's season, like Hannah's season, Becca's season, when they really started to like pull back the veil a little bit to let us in. And honestly, I feel like that's the only thing would keep, like, I wouldn't have watched the season if it was just a normal season. Even the premiere episode was boring to me.
Yeah, it wasn't very interesting.
Like, it was just like this basic episode.
Yeah.
So the only
I think The Bachelor's all for it. The ratings, because Colton's season was a season that I probably wouldn't have watched, and then they were like, he jumped the freaking wall. So I think this season, this is like their hook, and I think they purposely probably had it leaked to make this season more interesting, because nobody really cared about Claire or knew who she was. Like, when the guys were like Dale told her, when I saw that you were the Bachelor, I'm like, you lied! Nobody thought Claire was going to be the Bachelor, and no one liked Claire. She was crazy and super possessive and dramatic. Like, she wasn't showing like all these super attractive qualities on The Bachelor.
Great qualities for television, though.
Yeah, great qualities for television, but not great qualities for like a partner. So for a guy to be like, I saw you and I thought, no, you didn't. You're lying. She was on The Bachelor 7 years ago. Like, I barely remembered her, and I watched Juan Pablo's season. So, all right. Anything else you want to mention about The Bachelor?
No, but I'm excited to see how this actually all unfolds, and I just can't wait to see Tayshia, because I am honestly like over Claire, and Tayshia should have been the Bachelorette in my opinion anyways. And you know what? If she was the Bachelorette, we would have had a regular freaking season and we would have been able to enjoy it. But the only other thing I would say is they picked a great group of guys for Tayshia as well.
I agree.
Because we know they can't recast them. Oh, and another thing Mom said, she said they'll probably just bring the other 15 she kicked off back. The other 16, because you said they get down to 15, right?
Yeah.
She said they're just going to bring the other 16 guys back. They're not going to recast them. They'll probably retest them and then bring them back and then give them over to Tayshia.
Start all over, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Claire booted these guys out. So it's like, they're probably like, hey, by the way, Claire quit. Did you want to come back and date Tayshia? And they'll probably be like, yeah.
She's younger and cuter. Absolutely.
Exactly. Absolutely. So, okay. So
our topic.
Yes.
So our topic this week I thought was pretty. It's Ashley came up with, and something we never talked about, which is strange, but living with someone. So living either with a roommate or a partner. And so we have like, did you want me to do the? You can answer because I answered the questions last time.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So the first question is,
Well, we're
what is
gonna
it
break
like?
it down in different
Oh yeah,
sections.
I'm sorry. So it's broken down in two sections. Living together, Ashley and I living together, and then living with a roommate, which I guess I'll answer that. So you can answer the
Yeah.
first ones and I'll answer those because I lived with a roommate and you've never.
Yeah. And then there's a
Um,
third one that's living with your partner.
where? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped it. Yeah, living with your partner. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley likes her groupings. Whenever we do, like, she always has to have like a grouping of
We haven't
the topics
outlined
to
this
hit.
episode.
Yeah,
So
very
that's why
big out.
yeah, she's looking at that one.
So okay, so yeah, so our topic is like what it's like living with a man, living with each other, and living with his roommate separate. So we're starting with living together. So Ashley and I did live together for, I mean,
Before we were
until
born.
yeah, I mean our whole lives until Ashley got married and had Phoenix. We lived together. And so, did you think it was hard or easy?
Living with you?
Yeah,
I feel like there was moments where it was hard, but I didn't know anything else.
I think that I don't think living with you was hard. I think the circumstances of our life while we were living together made it hard because I
We
think
had
like
some weird stuff.
yeah, I think that like our life was just like when our life was on a roll, like when we were working at Fridays, we were both working, like we were both waiting, like serving at Fridays, we were both making money. Like our life was on a really strong roll. Like we just everything was pretty comfortable. Like we were both in school at the time. Like so it was stressful only because we were both in school and like we didn't really have like a lot of like
And we were
either
living in
time or
Los
money.
Angeles,
Yeah.
just the two of us.
Yeah. It was just us. We didn't have any family, but we did like we made a lot of friends and like, you know, like it was a lot of fun and that was like in our 20s, so it was a really fun experience. I honestly feel like it's important for everybody to like do two things. One, get out of your parents' house, and two, live by yourself is probably important. But I'm the only one that lived by. Ashley has never lived by herself.
No.
It was fantastic. I liked living by myself. It was stressful and sometimes it could be kind of lonely, but I felt like it was important for me to see really, because I've lived with you, for me to really see how I would do things by myself, like without anybody's input, about anybody saying anything, like not having to think about like, would I really do the dishes if it was just me? Yes, I actually am weird about dishes. Like,
What would you like? What groceries would you buy? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, would I make my bed every day? No, I don't make my bed every day. Like things like that I don't have to hear somebody coming like, hey, you should, this is messy or you left this out. I've learned that I'm like super like neat, freak, and clean about things. And I wasn't sure if it was just like, I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was like partially from living with you or what. But anyways, I thought it was pretty like, I thought living with you, because we split everything evenly. Like there were arguments about money, but there was never an argument, I feel like, about like who was going to contribute what. It was just like, well, this bill has to get paid, so like we just need to make sure that it gets paid.
It gets paid, yeah.
Yeah. Did we argue? Yes.
All the time.
We argued all the time.
All the time. Like, ask our mother. We
argued all the time.
Argued all the time. Yeah. I think we went through a stage where like when we weren't living together where we argued more. But like when you live with somebody, like you low key have to like resolve it. Like you fucking go live.
But I
with
feel
that
like
person.
now that Ashley and I are older and now that we're older though and we both have kids, I feel like we argue a lot less.
Well, yeah, because none of your decisions that you make in your life don't affect me. So there's no reason to argue about it. Like when you live, if you make a decision, I'm just like, oh yeah, maybe I wouldn't have made that choice. It's not gonna cause an argument because it doesn't affect me. Versus like now, like if you make a decision, it affects me. Like if you quit your job or you like wanna
not now, before.
Yeah, or get a promotion or whatever it is, or you want to change your job or you want to, I don't even know, like you want to date
like
you're dating somebody and they want to live with us or stuff like that. That happened
twice. And because Mike moved in with us and then Marco moved in with us also.
Marco didn't move in. He just was there a lot. He didn't move in. Mike had whole like he lived there.
I know Mike lived there.
Every day.
Okay, you say Marco didn't move in. but he was there. I swear he moved in.
No, he didn't move in. He was at his parents' house because he would have to leave and go back home because his son was there. Because Jalen
Okay.
was there. So he didn't
Okay.
live there.
Okay, but then you guys moved in together. So then
We
that was
moved
that.
together. Yes. Yeah. But he was no, but I would say he was there a lot. Like he was there a lot. So
the only thing Marco did cook though, so there was that.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Okay, the next one was what did we argue about? We said that. How big? What does that mean? How big was the argument?
No, how big was our apartment? So we've lived in
Oh,
a few big
1,200
ones,
square foot was
like
the second
1,200
one.
square feet. Both of them, I think. Like, because the one we lived in the valley was 1,200 square feet.
And then the
And
other one we lived in
then
Canoga Park was smaller than that, though. It was probably like
the
7, 8.
Roach Motel,
Roach infested place. We lived in some crappy.
it was really
Wow.
bad.
It was awful. Like, we literally, our first day there, and it was like gifted to us. We won't go into that long story, but it was like gifted to us for our like 21st birthday.
Yeah, it was like,
22nd
hey,
birthday.
I put a deposit down on an apartment. You guys move in a week. We were like, oh, great. We hadn't even seen it.
Yeah, and it was gross. And we like it was we turned on all the water and it was all rusty. So like, and we
You had to let the water run.
Yeah, we had to let the water run in all the faucets in it because we had to run the rust through. Like, I remember actually calling mom, being like, "Is this toxic for us?" Like, mom's like, "I wouldn't drink it," but I was like, "But what about like bathing and washing?" And like, I don't think I ever took a bath the entire time we lived there, and we both had bathtubs. I never once took a bath.
We couldn't. It was so cold in the winter in LA. Like, and it's not like we were living in Chicago. Like, winters in Los Angeles are like, maybe sometimes at night they drop into the high 20s, the 30s or something like that. And if you live in a relatively insulated place, like if you're under a blanket, you're fine. No, we had to have like freaking heaters next to the bed in our rooms to even like not be just like shivering.
I got
like
sick
the whole night.
so many times.
The AC broke within like our first
sick.
month.
The heat broke. The heat broke.
No, the whole thing went out, remember?
Oh yeah, the window unit. So the window unit had AC and heat. It broke. And the lady never fixed it. Never fixed it. We lived there for a year, did not fix it. So we had to buy space heaters. And it, oh my gosh. And then when we moved out and we moved the fridge, roaches scattered throughout the entire,
they wouldn't let us move our fridge into our new apartment.
Yeah, because it was covered in roaches. I'm so glad we don't live there. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we don't live there. It was so
we
bad.
have definitely come up.
Ashley and I scrounged our pennies together, and we managed to move into a good.
Really nice.
It wasn't like super nice. Okay, it was very nice for LA because it wasn't $3,500 a month, but it had central air. Which, if you live in LA or San Diego, you know that central air is not a normal thing. There was a laundry unit, like, or laundry place inside. It was
really close.
It was an indoor. Like, our old place was like our door opened outside to like a hall, like instead of like opening to a hallway, it opens like the outside, like a Motel 6. Yeah. So yeah, it was really nice. And then like the space was great. We had a huge living space. Like, our friends were always over there because we were the only ones that 21 years old that had our own place. Yeah, had our own apartment. All of our other friends lived with their parents because it was so expensive to live somewhere in LA. So
yeah,
honestly, like, I feel like we did really good living in LA. Like, yeah, the fact that we did that still surprises me. But
our apartment in Austin was nice too.
Yeah, our apartment. So we lived in a couple, like 3 different apartments. We pretty much moved like every other year. We moved to Austin. Our apartment. So we lived with Kayla for like 6. We lived with Kayla for like 6 months, and then we moved into another apartment, which is a 2-bedroom, which was a Jack and Jill, which I absolutely hated. So we were for sure like, we made sure the next time we moved, we got a double mastered apartment. I would suggest that if you live with a roommate, get a double master apartment. So you have your own. So you're on opposite sides of the house. One person may have, like, you won't have your own bathroom. One person may have like a master, but. Anyways, we got to get through these questions. But the next one was, how did we split up the bills?
We talked about it already. We just did everything half-half.
Yeah, it wasn't, sometimes it wasn't even, but it was paid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We shared a bank account. Didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we shared a bank account. So everything just got paid out of one space. TV? Number 7?
Yeah. So like for us, I know like I mean, again, I never lived with a roommate, but I know like sometimes in like common spaces, like you have to like share the television, or do you have TVs in your own room, or like were there arguments about who like whether or not there was going to be cable, or
We
like
both we I think we had both. Didn't we both have TVs and we had one in the living room?
yeah, we had one in the living room we never used, and then we both had TVs in our room, pretty much.
Yeah, the TV in the
So
living room got used for like specific things like Thanksgiving or like or friends over watching movies, or we did a whole like Harry Potter movie night in our apartment. So
yeah,
um expectations about coming home or out late, we really didn't have. I just wanted to know if you were coming back.
I think that was like the only stipulation. Like if you weren't going to
Yeah,
come back, you need to say something. Other than that, it was fine. Like I didn't want to
yeah,
wake up in the morning and like you not be there and be like, where the hell are you at? Like,
yeah,
so yeah, I think that's like, but I think that's like, to me, that's like common sense. I think if you love somebody, you need to freaking tell them. Because I always think of like, if something was to happen to you, I'm the first person they're going to be asking because I live with you. When was the last time you saw them? Well, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
have
exactly.
you
And
heard from them? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
think it's important if you're living with somebody to like definitely tell them like where you're going. So, anyways.
you want to ask me the roommate questions?
Okay, yes. So we'll go through these roommate questions. Okay. So you had one, you've only had, well,
Yeah, I
how
only
many
have
roommates have you had?
one. Oh
Just
well, I guess I've had two because Blake and I had one, but I had one by myself. So Michelle was my roommate. Hi, Michelle, love you. She was fantastic. We enjoyed living together. We really had no issues, honestly. She was great about helping me walk my dog. Our schedules were a little bit opposite. We gave each other solid privacy. Like we were all both the same about not wanting to have a bunch of people over at our place. Like we wanted our place to be our place, and then if we wanted to go hang out with a group of people, then we went to somebody else's place. Like we weren't inviting a bunch of people over. Like that just
wasn't like
wasn't
party
our.
house.
Yeah, that wasn't that our place was not the party spot. So
Okay,
um
so Michelle is a girl, obviously. I have a question here that says they're male or female.
yeah,
And then were they like tidy?
Michelle was super tidy in the common space. um I would say that like her like we cleaned her bathroom after she moved out, and her bedroom. So her personal space wasn't like super clean. Like I feel like I'm weirdly clean. Um, so her space wasn't like super clean. But as far as like common spaces, like she didn't make huge messes. She put her dishes away. Like we never had issues in the common area at all. So
Yeah. Okay. And then what was the food and grocery situation like? Did you like
so we
shop for your own
share
food or
whatever. So first of all, we didn't eat the same stuff, so that did help. Um, but she was always like, if she put something in the fridge or I put something in the fridge, I was welcome to use it. But again, we both ate out a lot because we were single, so we didn't really eat. And we also worked like
at a
a
restaurant?
ridiculous amount of time and at a restaurant, so there wasn't like a whole lot of time in the kitchen. Like Blake laughs at me because I literally had 5 things in my fridge and
Condiments.
pantry. It was it was all
Waffles,
Larry's waffles, blueberry muffins,
kettle
some
corn.
kind of chips, popcorn, and turkey bacon.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. Like something for me to eat for breakfast because often I didn't eat lunch and dinner was grabbed from somewhere. So that was kind of like our kitchen was never really an issue. She did have a lot of dishes and a lot of cups and like a lot of stuff that she collected over the years because she was older. She's Blake's age, so she had lived by herself for a long time. So she had a lot more um, kitchen supplies, which was nice for me because I didn't have a lot of. I had one set of dishes, one set of silverware, like all singular stuff. So it was nice to have her stuff in there too, just to kind of have some extra supplies. So
Okay, and then what was the like how were the expenses split up like when you lived with her?
we just split up. So I feel like we put the utilities in my name, and then like I remember I would send her money for certain things. So I think the utilities were in her name, and then we split the rent or something. But everything was just split evenly. Like we just split the rent the same. We split the we had she had separate. I don't even remember if she had like internet or anything. I think we had our own, I think we had internet for the place and we just split the internet. We split the utilities, but then like I had like Hulu and Netflix that I paid for myself for my room that was separate. And but yeah, we just split everything evenly. I would just send her money for stuff and then she'd pay it, or she'd send me money and I'd pay it. Like it's kind of how it worked out. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that can get kind of weird though. Like if you're like, "Hey, this bill is due tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and pay it." And the other person's like, "Yeah, I got you." And then they don't send you money, like that could be kind of stressful
yeah, I
probably.
mean, yeah, I feel like with roommates, it's just important to like keep the communication, because there's definitely times where Michelle would ask me for money that I didn't have for a couple days after she'd asked me for it. So I
Yeah.
just from working. So
Okay. So, let's see. And then last one is like expectations about coming home. Like, did you care? Did you ask? Did you guys check
she and I were
in?
really, she and I were never in each other's business like that. If Michelle wasn't home for a couple days, I would just text her and be like, "Hey, are you going to be home? Because I have to work all day. If you mind walking Belle for me." But we really didn't care.
Yeah,
Like we
whatever you
really
want.
weren't in each other's. We really weren't in each other's business. Like there would be whole days where like if Michelle and I didn't work, both of us didn't work. Like I wouldn't see her. She would be there, but I wouldn't see her. Like she would be in her room watching her shows or whatever, and I'd be in like we didn't like we. It's funny because whenever we'd hang out or go out and be in the same place, we were like really close. But then like when we were at
Yeah.
home, we were just so to
You're
ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's I mean, I feel like home should be like your space to like unwind, especially at the Oasis, like working those hours that we worked, like it was just like you needed to
I'm just
just
not
like
trying to decompress.
lounge.
I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to talk to really anybody after that. So
Okay, so really
um,
quickly we're going to go through the partners.
yeah,
And I guess we can kind of like you want to like take turns on these questions asking them, I guess.
yeah. I've only lived with two, Mike and Blake. That's it.
Yeah. I've only lived with okay, so let's specifically talk about living with Blake and me living with Derek. We'll
Yeah,
specifically
well,
talk
because you
about
said
those.
the first question was how many partners have you lived with?
Okay, I know, but like the rest of them,
Oh
we'll
yeah, oh
specifically
yeah. The
talk
rest
about
of them are
living.
going to be out about Blake because I've lived with him for almost 4 years now. So
Yeah, me too.
uh,
And yes, I've lived with uh well, okay, technically Mike lived with us.
that's true.
So
Mike and I never lived together. Mike lived with Ashley and I, so that one I don't even know if that counts. So that one doesn't even count
you
because
still lived with the man. You shared a bathroom and stuff with him.
I I know that, but I'm saying I didn't. Yes, but it was like I guess it just didn't seem. I guess yeah, he had stuff in the closet. I guess he did live with me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different when you go look for a place, you find a place, you move all your things in with a partner from scratch than it is to have somebody move into your place. Because that's what happened with Mike. Mike moved into our place. So that was you and I's place already. So that's different. So yeah, I think that's totally different. But
Yeah.
obviously I'm just gonna it makes more sense to just do I wasn't gonna go into details about Mike. I was just like, I've lived with two. You've lived with two because you lived with Marco for a very short period of time. And then you've lived with
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I think one of the things I did okay, so I did talk about moving here. So, I think one of the big things is like going and looking for places and like I would say that Derek has not moved very often in his life. Like he literally lived in the same house.
Hold on. Go ahead. Derek is what?
Um Derek hasn't moved a lot in his life. He lived in the same house till he was 22 and then he went to college and then he came back and lived with his parents for a little bit and then moved to Austin. And then I met him in Austin. So like he had literally moved like twice by the time I met him and then he and I did a cross country move and like I mean I'm not recommending this to anybody, but we did a whole cross country move. We like picked an apartment together like we had it we we'd had conversations about like finances and like what are your expectations and like what are your goals or whatever like how are we going to divide the duties and like I think when you live with a partner you have to talk more about like gender roles and like who's going to do what and are you both going to work what's when you have a kid there's like all these other factors so I think like that's like the biggest like thing is like so many other things you have to consider when you're living with somebody that like is your partner and the expectations I have on here like I think I expect a lot more of him versus if I was just living with a random person, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I mean, we don't have to hit, like, I think we're just going to cover them in conversation. I'm just trying to make sure we like kind of hit all the points. But I, I feel like for Blake and I, there's things that are different. Like, our Blake doesn't watch TV really. So if we're watching TV, it's because I'm said like I want to sit down and watch something. Um, the I don't spend a lot of time in the living room. So but Blake is like, it kind of bugs him, I think, sometimes that I never really use the couch. Like I'm totally comfortable sitting in the bed watching TV. He hates to lay in the bed and watch TV. Hates it.
I
So
had
like
to
if we watch
force
it,
myself when we moved here to like, I'm like, because we had a really uncomfortable couch in our old first apartment here. And so I was like,
yeah,
I'm
Blake and
not
I
going
did
to sit
too.
out there. It was so uncomfortable. So I was like, I'm just going to watch TV in my room. Like I have a TV in here. I'm just going to watch it in here. So I kind of got in the habit of doing that. But then now, like now here we have a super comfortable couch. So I'm like, why am I sitting in my bed? Like, let me go sit on my $2,000 couch, not sit in my bed. Like, makes
Yeah,
no freaking sense. Watch my huge television. Like, why am I sitting in my
we
room in the
actually
dark?
we got like a super comfortable couch from IKEA too for our living room that we have, which is in storage, but it's like stupid comfortable. And
Yeah.
but for me, what would happen would be like the only time I would really get to spend time like watching TV by myself, Landon would be asleep and his bedroom's right after the living room. So
Right.
it
Yeah.
just made more sense for me to go into the room, take laundry in there or whatever, and like just keep the house quiet so he gets. So I just got in the habit of just like being in the bedroom and having that be like my safe space. And straighten up the living room, straighten the kitchen, and go hide in the bedroom. So that's kind of like, I think that's more why than anything. But yeah, Blake doesn't really watch TV. So if he uses the TV though, it's for Call of Duty, which is really the main thing he uses the TV for. Which I would rather him have the video game in the living room and not in the bedroom. So I'm totally
Yeah.
fine with him going to the living room and playing Call of Duty and like in our bedroom. Like if we have a TV in there, that's great. But like I don't want him to be playing video games in the middle of the night while I'm like trying to sleep or
Try
trying
to
to spend
sleep.
time with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So um, the other one, I think the only thing we haven't, moving. Blake and I have moved a ton in the last 2 years. I think Blake has finally come on board to like my methods, to my madness of moving. Because I'm really
Which is
weirdly,
efficient.
which is efficient.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the way I move. Yeah, it's the way I move things and the way I like to do things is very efficient, and the way I like to organize stuff and how I like to get things done is efficient. Blake prioritizes different things when it comes to moving than I do. Like I like to get the packing done first and the cleaning done afterwards. I don't like to clean around the stuff I have to pack. It makes no sense to me. And I think Blake is a little bit of the opposite. I think he packs last, and like so that when we moved this time, I was just like, I do not understand why you're waiting until the day before to pack. Why? Like we're not going anywhere. So there was that too. So there's like a balance, but I have my expectations of Blake are like life partner decisions, like parenting, helping like with what helping not helping with Landon, but we are a partnership. Like you're his dad, I'm his mom. Like obviously we're living in a roommate. You don't. If I was living in a roommate with Landon, I wouldn't have any expectations of them to help me with Landon. Like
Yeah.
or financial contribution to the household or like all that kind of stuff. Like there's just a whole different living with your partner, that especially that the one that you're spending the rest of your life with, is
Also, like,
you're looking future. You're making all your decisions jointly. Like he's not like the leaving one, for example. Like if you leave, you better tell me like when you're going to get back. And if you don't come back within that time frame, you're getting called to be like, hey, why are you said you were on your way back, with the roommate. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, she'll be back at some point. Like unless I get a call from the police, like I'm sure she's fine, you know?
Yeah. Are you still there? I think you
Yeah.
froze. Okay. I did something and I moved you on Skype on my phone, and now like you're on the bottom and I'm on the top.
Oh yeah. I had
Also
totally
didn't change the
forgotten to
video.
make us like one like bottom top situation.
It automatically does it, but you're still
Yeah.
frozen.
I am.
You're still frozen over here. Yeah. Okay, now you're unfrozen. And you're super clear.
Yay.
What the heck? Okay. Um okay. So, yeah, okay. The only thing is, do you have like was there anything that like surprised you? I mean, we've both lived with men before, but I think like the thing that surprised me about living with, or like the one thing that was kind of weird about living with Derek was like he's actually really like he's not very home right now very much, but like some things he's like super weird about needing to be clean, and other things like he would walk by it every single day and it not bother him, and it drives me nuts. Like I cleaned all like our bathroom, like deep cleaned our bathroom, deep cleaned the downstairs bathroom. Like I hate like Phoenix, like whenever he spits in the sink with his toothpaste, he spits all over the mirror. That drives me freaking nuts. So like I'm always wiping that down or like whatever. And like I had to like tell him like, am I the only one that sees? Like, am I the only one that sees like that the mirror hasn't been wiped in like 2 months? Like, am I the only one that sees that like our tub clearly needs, it's developing like one of those green eggs and ham like freaking rings around it? Like, we probably should clean it. Like, sometimes I'm just like,
I feel like, so Blake and I are really both very like, so both Blake and I both clean when we're like stressed out or anxious. But I also clean to relax also, just like in general. So cleaning to me is relaxing because I don't like to be in like an unkept space. And Blake is the same way. I'm weirder about the organization of it. Like I don't like just having things just sitting on the floor. Blake is way more concerned about the mess of it. So um if Landon spills crackers all over the floor, I'm like, it takes me 5 seconds to vacuum it. It literally doesn't bother me. Whereas Blake is like, there are crackers everywhere. I'm like, that takes 5 minutes to clean. It really doesn't bother me. Toilets and bathrooms are my biggest pet peeve just in general. I will not shower or bathe in a tub that's gross. Like I will wipe it down before like I clean it. I mean, before I take a bath in it, for sure I will clean out the tub. I just can't. I don't want to sit and like feel like I'm sitting in filth. Toilets are gross. If I open the toilet and it's gross, I don't even want to sit on it. Like I will clean it out. Those things just really bug me. But yeah, Blake and I are both, I feel like, equally clean freaks. Just like maybe small things here and there, or like Blake gets busy or I get a little busy or whatever about stuff. But I feel like I am more lenient on Landon's mess than Blake is. Like Landon's mess doesn't bother me as much as it does Blake, but I try to make sure that if I know Blake's coming home from work or whatever, that I straighten up so that, because I don't like walking in to mess.
yeah,
Especially if I've been working or been running around all day, I don't want to walk into a mess. So I think that's
yeah.
probably the biggest thing. But
And I'm big about like doing that too. I'm big about like making sure that the space is clean for when Derek gets home because he is gone like most of the week. Like,
yeah.
so I try to like make sure the spaces are kept. But okay, I think that we kind of like
Do you
hit
have a
all of like the topics or like the points of that. But yeah,
do
that
you
was a
have a no
fun
girl or go
conversation.
girl?
Okay, so I have a no girl this week because I forgot to do my no girl last week. So I'm gonna say my no girl this week. My no girl this week was the fact that, so I was trying to pack lunches for Derek last week because we're trying to save a little bit of money and he spends a ridiculous amount of money on freaking eating out when he's working, which is ridiculous. So I was like, why don't you start packing your lunches? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of like push us in that direction. Let me try to like pack your lunch one day. So I got back from my class kind of early and I was like, okay, I'm just going to pack your lunch. So I packed his lunch and I was like making this great sandwich with like all of this stuff on it and da 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 da. And I packed it up and I got him some chips and apple and an energy drink and everything. And I like put it all together and like I put a bag of ice in it so it would stay like cold, everything. I was doing the most, right? So then he calls me at like 12:31. He's eating lunch. He's like, hey babe, thank you so much for packing my lunch. Um, he was like, it was really good. And I was like, yeah, he's like, I think it was missing something, but it was great. And I was like, and then I literally, when he said that, I was like, oh my God, I didn't put freaking turkey on your sandwich. And he was like, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but like, I really enjoyed my cheese and spinach sandwich. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I cannot believe I didn't put and I pulled the turkey out. And I was thinking like, I'm going to put extra turkey on there because I want to make a nice full sandwich for him. I just literally left the whole sandwich off the sandwich, basically.
It's
So
freaking hilarious.
yes. So that was my no girl last week. I remember we got off the podcast. I was like, dang it, I forgot to say it. So
My no girl this week is pretty obvious one. Well, not obvious. It's obvious to me because I lost my AirPods somewhere in our moving, and I discovered that they are no longer on my Find My Friends or Find
oh
My
no.
device. So apparently somebody has them, and it didn't ping me or alert me where they were connected last. So I don't know. So I'm gonna have to get new AirPods. So for now, I'm using the old school freaking corded headphones because my AirPods are missing, and my heart hurts very much that they are missing. Still have no idea where they are. Still can't figure out where we left them. Like Blake and I both have searched high and low. We searched the condo after we figured out we didn't have them in the car before we got on the road and still cannot find them. So I don't have a clue not one iota clue where they are. So that's really sad. So but that's it.
Oh. Okay.
So
well, on that sad note,
rip to the
we
the AirPods.
yes, I know. I'm so sad. I feel like my AirPods are like my second, like my third arm or something. Like I always have them. But
On that note, I guess.
yes, on that note, thank you guys so much for listening. We are, enjoying being able to do this podcast for you guys. We are at the top of 2020. I wanted to record 52 episodes. We are just cracked the 40s
41
right
in.
now. Yeah, so I'm really excited that we are, even with all of this craziness going on with COVID-19, we've been able to, stick with the goals. I remember I told you I wanted to record 52 episodes and you were like, that seems like a lot. And I was like, we're gonna do it. So I'm excited to do this and I'm happy that you guys listen. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the bell, subscribe to our channel. We are, we do have consistent content that we have every week that comes out. So we'd love to hear your feedback, as well as check us out on all of the platforms. Description, or all of the links for all of that are in the description box. And share us on your socials.
And
tag us.
hit the thumbs up.
And hit the thumbs up. And reach out to us on social. Tag us in social when you listen. And, so we can kind of spread the word that people love our podcast and are listening. So, yeah, on that note, hope you guys have a great week and we will talk to you next Wednesday.
Yep. Bye.